Hello, hello, and welcome to Notary Life with Kimmy. I hope all is well. Hi to those who will join us on the replay and also to those who will join us on the podcast. What's going on, people? We are having some hot conversation today about these notary streets. I'm telling you, people ain't paying. Where the money at? Where does money at? So we're going to let YouTube do its thing and notify a few people that I am on. And again, today we are talking about a few tips on what to do when signing companies don't pay. Because that is the word on the street, that signing companies are not paying. And it's not all signing companies. Let's be clear that it is never all. It's just a few, as we like to say, bad apples. Okay, so let's let YouTube do its thing, and then we'll get started in our conversation. We will get started. And YouTube is a little slower these days in notifying everybody that we're on. So yeah, things are going crazy. Hey, let me cut the comments on too. Okay. Hey there, welcome to everyone. We're talking about what to do when signing companies don't pay. When they don't pay. Yeah. Have you ever had that happen, that they didn't pay you? We'll ask that again when we get a few more people in the room. We'll ask that again. Have you ever had a signing company not pay you? So I personally have not ever had a signing company not to pay me. Have you ever had a signing company not to pay you? I'm just curious because I'm hearing it's becoming a thing. It's becoming a thing. Signing companies not wanting to pay. And as I stated earlier, it is never all. It's never all. It's just one or two bad apples that are not paying. So we're going to hop right into it. We do have a few people, so I know it's lunchtime, but I had to get this topic off my mind because everyone's talking about it. And I've had a few questions myself. So I actually wrote a whole book about pricing, and I included a whole subject in there about that. Let's talk about the money, pricing your notary services, the book. If you haven't seen it, it's on notaryeducatorsllc.com. Because a lot of people don't know how to handle it when people don't pay. So let's talk about it. So let's talk about why signing companies may not be paying right off the bat. Let's talk about that first. Why aren't signing companies paying, or some of them? I believe that some of them are smaller operations and they have to wait to be paid by title. They have to wait and be paid by the lender sometimes. And it's not like they get a check the same day. Sometimes they do. But a lot of times, everyone doesn't get paid until the final closing on the property or whatever is involved, right? So they have to wait. So if they're starting a signing company, some notaries, and it's mostly just notaries like you and I, they say, you know what, I'm going to start a signing company. They start a signing company, but they have no capital. I did a whole video a couple years ago about this. And they'll start a signing company and they don't have any money, no capital to pay. Hey, Nicole, how's it going? They have zero money to pay other notaries while their business is getting off the ground. They're strictly relying on being paid from the person that hired the signing company. So that's one reason, right? They have no capital. Number two, they may have just forgotten. They may have just forgotten to cut the check. It happens. Everyone's busy, even the owner of a signing company. They get busy and they don't have time, or they just forgot, you know what, I got to go pay Sally. She did a job for us, and they have notaries across the country, sometimes nationwide, and they just forgot, that's another reason. Maybe you haven't completed your tax forms and they don't know or feel like trying to contact you and beg you to fill out your forms. That could also happen if your documents are not correct, because they'll tell you that W-9 needs to be completed. That's your tax wages form. And also, or maybe they don't have your social or your EIN number or something. It could be on your end why there's a delay in payment too. So let's talk about what to do, though, when that happens, when the signing company does not pay, okay? Because it affects your bottom line. If they're not paying you and you're doing the work, that is highly irritating, right? That is highly irritating. You are doing the work and they are not paying you. And you went out there, you've driven, you've printed 2 copies, you sat at the table. Now they're asking you to sit at the table and do a phone call afterward, double check the work, do a video conference, scan bags, go to FedEx, UPS. I mean, really? And then they don't pay you? I mean, we're livid about that, okay? Let's just be clear. And I would be TO'd also, okay? Ticked off. Now, that being the case, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? We are not going to overreact, okay? Let's try not to anyway. That's why I always say have multiple streams of income in the sense of multiple services that you offer. You know, be able to do apostilles, ink fingerprinting, I-9, complete the form, inspections, be able to do more than one thing. General notary work. A lot of people still are afraid of general notary work. And if you are, check out my course. Don't be scared. It's not that complicated. I have the new Trust Estate package course that shows you how to complete those forms. So you're like leaving money on the table if you're not doing general notary work. And still a lot of notaries are not because they're afraid. With proper training, you will not. You will have the confidence that you need. And we do give you that. We talk about it all the time. And so check out those courses too, okay? So we're not going to overreact, though. We're going to remain calm. We're going to try to have our budget and everything, our money in such a way that if they don't pay me, it's okay. I'm not going to starve because one signing company didn't pay me. So that too can feed into why some notaries are just going berserk. You know, I didn't get paid because you need your money. And I get that. So we are not going to overreact. We're going to assume initially, you know what they say about assuming, but we're going to give them the benefit of the doubt that it was just an oversight. Excuse me, that it was just an oversight. And we're going to reach out. And be it by email. First, you can always start with a phone call. You can start there. But I'm big on documenting things. Put it in email. Once those emails start popping off, things start happening. I'll tell you really quick a story. When I worked at the bank and I was trying to get something resolved with my bank manager, he kept giving me to run around. And I was just like, you know what? I'm over this. I mean, it had taken a long time. And I said, I'm done. I started popping off emails. I wrote his manager. I wrote his manager. Look, I wrote the manager, the manager's manager, the manager. And you see what I'm saying? I started popping off them emails. It was a Friday afternoon. I will never forget. Next thing I know, all these men in suits started coming in the office. I was like, whoa, they called me in the office. They was like, well, Kimberly, what's going on? Now I'm Kimberly, what's going on? And I was like, yeah, ABC. I was ticked off. I mean, I was so mad at him because he kept promising me basically a raise and he didn't come through on it. And at this point, I'm like, you know what? That's it. That is it. So I started popping off those emails. So I'm big on putting things in print. Okay. Once you can still have the phone conversation, but I'm popping off an email that same day per our conversation. I expressed that I told you that I did not receive my money. You can make it sound as cute as you want to, but at the end of the day, I want to imprint the ABC signing company. You did not pay me for the job completed on such and such a day, ... the time, the number of the signing order. You want to make sure you include as many details as possible. And we're not playing, you know, you have to stand up for yourself. So also, I'm not going to encourage you, and you never call the client. Never call the client that you did the work for. That's actually in the notary NSA signing agent like rules from the NNA in the test. If they don't pay you, you never call the actual client you did the notarization for. You would never call them and say, hey, I was your notary, but the company didn't pay me, so now you need to. That is so unprofessional, okay? We are not going to do that. Okay, we are not going to do that. Again, what we're going to do is do that email and start popping off to the signing company. Now, people have asked, well, can I reach out to title or the lender if they don't pay? Because I saw, and they'll tell me this, notaries. And it's true, I see it too. I see on the closing disclosure that the notary is supposed to be paid X, Y, and Z, but they didn't pay me. I don't say do that initially by a long shot. I mean, as a very, 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 very last resort. But I don't want to do that for several reasons. Why? Because one, it's going to make the signing company look bad. Now, they already look bad in your eyes, right? But you don't really want to throw them under the bus and back it up over them and run them down. Because by the time you start calling signing companies, start calling lenders and title on the signing company, it's probably going to ruin their reputation too, because they're going to look like, well, they're not even paying their notaries. What are they doing with us? You know what I mean? Even though they're receiving a service, if your trust factor is gone in someone, even though you're paying them. So that's, for example, you doing something with your friend and another friend say, girl, he or she did this. And you're like, what? It makes you think about it twice. You're like, man, I don't know if I should trust them in ABC situation, right? Have you guys ever not been paid? A few more people have joined us now. Have you guys ever not been paid from a signing company? Have you heard about this? Throw a 1 in the chat for me if you have heard about this, and a 2 if this is new information for you. 1 if yes, I've heard about it, or 2, you never heard anything about this. So also what I like to say is you might have to end up writing it off on your taxes. So I've never not been paid by a signing company. Alexis, our other trainer who does the notary signing agent training for us, she has had that happen to her. She never got paid for the job. Never got paid for the job. So worst case, after everything has happened, I would say be prepared to write it off on your taxes. That's why you have to have good notes in your journal. I use Notary Gadget also. You need good notes. What happened at each signing. So you can write that in your journal. Hey, such and such signing company did not pay me. I would even write notes. I exhausted everything. So when it comes tax time, you can remember, oh, this happened or that happened. Okay. So I wanted to just hop on, like I said, and talk about that for a minute. And if you have not seen the pricing book, which covers how to price your notary services, a lot of people are still unclear. Check out that book. I have it here. I'll just show you right quick. There it is. It's called Price Your Notary Services. Let's talk about the money. It's not that complicated. So again, I hopped on at lunchtime today. I think it's a little bit better in the evening, but people will catch the replay, and that's it. Because today I can't have an appointment this evening. So I had to hop on when I can get on. So anyway, I'm sure everybody will catch the replay. But again, I just wanted to leave these tips with you when it comes to signing companies. So don't be afraid to work with them. With smaller companies, I am a little more cautious. I try to look for their reviews. I try to Google them and make sure, are they legit? How long have they been in business? Have other notaries said bad things about them? And I always do say this, just because one notary had a bad experience with someone does not mean that'll be your shared experience. It just does not. However, if I trip over this mat right here and another person trips over the mat, then that should let you know maybe I too could trip over that mat. You know what I'm saying? So, but again, I may have walked wrong. The other person may have walked wrong. So just because something happens doesn't mean it's always a bad cookie. Okay. So anyway, I'm going to wrap it up here. But again, any questions you guys have while I'm here, I'll hang out a couple more minutes. And then we might end up having a conversation about this. I'll see what the comments say after everybody, because we might have to have a part 2 of this when signing companies don't pay, because I really want to know your thoughts on this topic and how you handle that. Any questions before I head out? All righty then. Well, I am going to get out of here and start with my day, or continue it. I have already started, but I got a few things to do. All right. Well, I'll be in touch, guys. Until next time, this is Notary Life with Kimmy.